Hey guys, and welcome back. This is day 5, and today is the day that we do some web development coding. Not really coding, but I'm going to show you how I put together the landing page that I showed you on day 2 in WordPress. So hopefully that is exciting for you and you stick around and we'll go through that whole process. So let's get to it. So this whole landing page is built in WordPress. We are using a staging server. So this is, like I said, it's a fictitious landing page that I planned after I watched Tom's video on the microphone giveaway, or the microphone that he was recommending, and I decided to build a landing page, a sample landing page that would effectively be a way for him to launch a giveaway. So we're gonna go through and look at the site that we have here. So the only plugins that we have installed in WordPress are Elementor Pro and Elementor. So Elementor Pro is a paid plugin, and if this interests you and you like what you see and you want to get, I'll put a purchase link in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it just helps me with, I guess, getting some funding for my channel. Yeah, so the only paid plugins are Elementor Pro, and I host everything on SiteGround. I love SiteGround. It's one of my favorite hosting companies. And yeah, so I'll put a link as well in the description to SiteGround and their hosting packages. And once again, if you use that link, it puts a little bit of money back into the channel, but either way, it doesn't matter. So the page that I had built, we'll just have a look at it right here. So this is the page that I had built, and this is the page that we will be going through today and building today, right? So first things first, we'll just go back to the dashboard, and I will create a new page, and we'll call it landing page 2 here. Publish this, and then we just hit edit with Elementor and we go in. So when you launch Elementor and we're doing landing pages, it normally picks up the header that exists in your theme, and because this is a blank theme that has nothing to it, it's kind of ugly right now, but we can easily get rid of that by going to the settings tab down here, and then in the settings tab we can just change page layout to Elementor canvas, and that will wipe away everything that's there and we have a blank screen. I always like to update right away, and now we're ready to go. So the first thing we'll do is we'll create a section here. So press the plus button, create a section, so it launches a single column section. I'll highlight the section highlight right here using the button here, and for vertical, for the height, we'll create a minimum height and we'll make it equivalent to a percentage of the column of the web page, sorry. So I'm going to make it 90%, so it kind of takes up 90% of the page. And this will be the hero section. To this, I'm going to style it. I'm going to add a background, so we want a background color. And I already created my colors in Elementor, and obviously this is not a full in-depth tutorial, it's just a quick overview of how I create this page. And then I'm going to put a background overlay, and we're going to add the image that we wanted. So we're going to add an image to the overlay here, and I believe this is the image that I used. Now I put that in. I'll make the opacity all the way to 100. So if you noticed, it is an image with a white background. We have to put the position, so I'll put it centered to the right so it goes to the back. We want it to be repeat, no repeat, And size, we'll leave it to contain. And now to get rid of this white background, obviously it is very easy in Elementor. We just go to blend mode here, and I'll go to multiply, and multiply will take away all the white, and it will blend the microphone into the background. So we got now the image in place, and now we can add more information to the page. So we'll put a heading tag in here, and you know what, for stick up the image in place, and now we're going to go in and put the heading. So we can just click on this icon here, take us back to all the settings that we have here. We'll drop a heading in. We're gonna put when a, and style, we want to make this nice and bold. Montserrat was the font that I'm using here, and we'll probably do this at 100 points. And the weight we want it nice and heavy, and we want the line height to be 0.8 of an M, sorry, 0.8 of, so 0.8 M's, 0.8 M's. I work in M's. It's a unit of measure that is more compatible with web development. The style, we want that text color to be white, so we got white, and I like to put a drop shadow on this. So I want you know, so this is the color portion, which I don't want it to be too dark, so 0.3 black is good. I want a blur of 22, and I want it in the vertical direction, so -10 here, so it goes upwards. I also want to reduce the margin at the bottom, so we're gonna give it a -30 margin. So sorry. So the way Elementor works is you cannot type in a negative, so you just have to push down on this and, you know, get that negative margin in there. So just using the margins in there. So we got that. So I'm going to duplicate this, and we're going to do some, I believe. Is it Samsung? Sorry. So Samsung, and once again, I'm going to go into advanced, and I do want to bring my top margin in as well. So it just kind of closes in there. Duplicate this one more time, and this is the Q9U, if I'm not mistaken. U. That's right. And for this one, I want the typography to be a lot bigger. Right, and I just want one more time, I'll bring up the fonts as well. So that kind of takes care of the heading. We're gonna add a little bit of text underneath it. So we're just gonna grab a text editor and drop it in there, right? And we don't want the margin from this heading to affect that. So click on the heading here, go to advanced, we'll lock that, go 0 out here, 0 out there, and then unlock it and take up the top margin. So we'll bring it back to normal, and we need a little bit of text. So grab the text from here. So the cool thing about Elementor is you can actually put your text in HTML, and if you know HTML code, you can put in all your HTML tags in there. So just copy this, and we'll move it over, and in text here, we'll just paste it in here. So we got that. We want the style to be put in place here, so we put primary color, and the typography we want is Montserrat. So Montserrat 16 point is, I like to work in measures of 4. So if my type is 16, then 20, then 24. So it's a design style that I like to use. Multiples of 4, it just makes for a nice and unique design style. So we got that in place, and the last thing we want to do is we want to add a button. So we'll go grab a button from here, drop it in there, and we can style it. So yes, so for this one we'll just write what we want in here. Yes, I would like the mic. Mic, sign me up. Right, so just a little bit of variation here. So once again, we have full control on these elements right here. That's why I said you don't need to write code. It is advantageous to know code, but you don't need to know code at all if you use Elementor. So it makes for quick, rapid prototyping for websites. So we're in the button tab. We're gonna go into typography. Once again, I'm using Montserrat. So and I'm gonna make this size 20 points. Like I said, I work in multiple 20. I'll make the weight about 500, and we'll make the line height of 1.2 just to give it some nice line height. And we can go back into normal and hover mode. So in the normal mode, I want it to be white, and I want the background type to be black. And then when I hover over it, I still want the text color to be white, but I can change the hover color probably to blue. Maybe I'm gonna go with the darker blue here, so we can go in there and we can just go a little bit darker than that. Right, so that's kind of cool. If I want to put a little bit of radius on it, just to give it a little bit of like softness, and I can increase my padding, so I can once again unlink this. I can put 15 on top, 15 bottom, and then let's give it about 30 and 30 on either side here. Right, that's pretty cool. And we can give it a grow animation. So when we hover over, it grows. And we'll link it up a bit later, because we're going to link it to the form element that we're going to put at the bottom of this section. So as you can see, the text right now is bleeding over, so we want to give it a little bit of a margin to one side. So I'm going to grab the text element here. I'm going to go to advanced, and I'm going to unhook padding, and I'm going to give it a padding of to the right in percent about 25 or 50%. So kind of push it back in, and we can give it a little bit of padding to the top, maybe 10, oh, not percent, sorry, 2% there, and give it a little bit of 2% to the bottom, sorry. So yeah, that looks nice, and we finished the hero section. So that's the hero section done. So let's jump into the next section. And for this one, I had done a little bit of little navigation. So this is the navigation elements that we want for the different sections to the site. So we have like features, we have about the mic, features, and contact us or something. And we wanted to also put the logo in here. So first things first, we want to give this style, and we want to give it a background color. So let's just grab a color here, and I like the gray. And then we want to duplicate and have 3 columns. So we're going to duplicate this and duplicate this. So right clicking and duplicate will produce 3 columns here. And the first column, we want to drop in the logo. So we're just going to grab an image here and drop it in here. And then click on this and drop in the Samsung logo. So this is a PNG graphic. So it's got it has a transparent background, and it works for us. Might make it a bit smaller, so you can go into style and style it down a bit. And the other thing is, I want it aligned to the left. And then the cool thing about Elementor, once again, is you can grab this column down. Sorry, so I need this to be at 100%, 100. But I can grab this column, and we can say I just want to take 25% off the total width across this section here. So only 25% of the width of this section, and this section is obviously contained. And in the middle, I want to put some navigation. So using Elementor Pro, we have access to the navigation module. So we have a nav menu right here, and drop it in. So we have the 3 navigation items that I had already created earlier. Now I can't go through everything in this video, and if there's something that you want to know and more in depth, we can definitely get into other videos that show off this more. But I'm just trying to go through the process of creating this really quickly right now. So under style here, so we got the menu items. So under style, we want to put vertical align to the middle, so it's sitting in the middle of this column here. And then we just want to style up these navigation menus. So we're going to typography once again, sorry. So we're going to style, and then we're going to typography here. We're going to go to Montserrat once again. Oops, Montserrat. And the cool thing about Elementor is if you're using the same style over and over and over, you can make it universal. So if I wanted to make this paragraph style universal, I would go to the paragraph right here. I would go to style, and when I click on typography, you can add this plus item here, and I can put this as white paragraph. No, this paragraph style. So this is a paragraph style. And so the next time I want to use it, so let's just say I want to use the same style down here on this element. When I go into typography here, I can click on the global item, and I can go here and click paragraph style. So we can do that. And then we can change the color. So text color once again is primary. Oh, actually no, we want it in black. So secondary color right there. We don't want the underline, so I don't want the underline about it, but I do want it to change colors as we go through it, and I might just want to make the typography a bit bigger, so I might go to 20 point here. So that looks better. And then to give it some variation on hover, I want the text color to change to blue. So there you go. Right, and right now we haven't told it what to do when we click on it, but we'll get to that as soon as we have all the sections in place. Right, and in this column, I just want to have the call to action. So we're going to duplicate this button. So right click, duplicate, and then just drag this into this column right here. And then it says, right here, just change it, sign me up. Right, and I want to align this button to, let's just go align this button to the right. And we might want to give this a little bit of depth. So in the advanced column, I'm gonna give it a padding at the top of 10 and the bottom of 10 here. So just give it some nice space in there. All right, so we finished that section. So we're going now into the section where we talk about this microphone a bit. So it's a single column section. I wanted it to be a bit thinner, so it's boxed, but I only want the width to be 500. So it's creating just a small width there. And then I wanted to duplicate this. Oh, not that one, sorry. Duplicate this heading and drag it in here. And here we say, if I'm not mistaken, down here it is about, so that's cool. So we're gonna put about this mic. Let's just give this a little bit of space, advanced. So we'll give it a margin to the top. Actually, no, I'm gonna put the icon on top of this. So we're just gonna put an icon to the top of this. So just gonna grab an icon here, right here, and we're gonna switch this icon to Let's go to magnify. So the cool thing about this is Elementor's got access to typekit or font awesome. So we can find some. So search. So we can use this insert, and I want it to be colored. So primary color is that, and I am going to put a little bit of padding to this. So I'm going to put padding to the top of about, let's say, 50 pixels, and to the bottom about 50 pixels to this section, so that way it's not so tight. I'm going to grab this icon, and we're going to move its position because I want it to be behind the text, and I also want to change the text direction of the shadow so it's to the below. So we'll just go 10 below, and grabbing this icon here, we're going to take the margins. So unlock this, and we're going to take margin bottom to negative. To -5, so -45 here, and to the left we're gonna move it over so it just sits behind that text as well. So we can do -50, 150. Let's make it like 250 here. Whoa. Take away that 0. Yeah, so that kind of gives it a little bit of interest. And below that, we're gonna put in our text editor, right? And once again, this has a negative margin to it, so we're gonna take this away and probably gonna put a 15-inch margin. So now we got some gap. Go back and copy this text here. So once again, text. So you can have this text in a Word document, it's much easier, but this is a faster way for me. Paste that in. Oh, it's got some HTML, so we will actually paste it in the HTML section. So there you go. And that's in there. And style, we just want to make sure that it is our paragraph style. So there we go. So that's that about section done. So far so good, everything looking good. So now we're gonna add the product feature section. So if we look at this, there is an image and then some interesting way to display the product information inside. So that's an easy section. We're gonna add a 2-column section here. On this one, I'm going to make the column width 60%, so it takes up a bit more space than that side. And we know we're going to drop in an image here, and we're going to grab the image. I believe it was this one. So we'll insert the media. So we have that. We want style. We want it to be full, so it takes up as much space as it can. And then on this side, we also wanted to make it vertically aligned, so middle. So the column, I want all the information in that column to be to the middle. And on this side, we're going to do something cool, and we're going to use an intersection here. So that adds another section inside the column here, and I'm going to delete one of the columns that's inside the intersection, and then here we're going to put the icon that we have here, so duplicate and drop that in. And I want this to be styled, so that I want it to be further to the, like that. And so I want it aligned to the left, but I have to remove the margin that I put here. So I'm just going to bring this to 0, so it's right at the edge there. And I also want to change this to be something different. So right now just do circle. It's just variation. I mean, you can do lots of different things, and I want it to be a bit smaller, so we'll just drop the size down a little bit. And then on top of that, I want to put in 2 pieces of information. I want to put in a text and a little heading. So I want a little heading and a little text here. So we have XLR analog in output. So grab that and put that into here. And for this one, we want the style, typography, Montserrat. And this time I want 24 point here. And I want it to be a bit bold. Probably up to about 600. Right, so I want to make that into a style. So here we go with the subhead style for product features. It's good to name your all your styles very uniquely, so that it's easier for you to find them later on. I want to go back to this, which is I want to go back to this icon up here, and I do want to adjust the margin to the left a bit. So I just want this to fall a little bit outside of that. And we have a little bit of text here. So I'll just grab this text, and we can go back in here, grab this text and replace it. And we want to make sure the style once again is our paragraph style, paragraph man, right? So once we have this, it is easier for us to just duplicate this a bunch of times. I do want to add a little bit of space between the bottom of this at the bottom of this point here. So another thing that happens when you have an inner section inside another section, you can sometimes get confused. So the Elementor has this beautiful navigator here, and this shows us everything that we have going on. So when we click on a section here, it scrolls down to it, and we know that we're inside this inner section. So if I now highlight that and then duplicate, it will just duplicate this section, right? But I need to put a little bit of margin to this section first before we duplicate it at the bottom. So I'm just gonna put another 15 pixels and then duplicate this, so that way we can get that information. So I'm not gonna go through and change all this information in here because we've already had that set up. I will put a little bit of padding to the main section to this whole section. I'm going to put a little bit of padding to the top and bottom just so that we have a little bit of space. So I'm going to put padding at the top 20 and the padding to the bottom here as well 20. So it gives me a little bit of space. And we're done with this section. So right now everything is working, and then we're going to add another section here, and this is our gallery. So for this section, we're going to start with this, which is the text, which is the heading, which I'm duplicating, dropping in here, and we'll write the word gallery. And we want this style. I wanted it to be a lot bigger, and we're gonna push it. We're going to align it to the right here, and then I'm gonna push it off the page a bit. So it's a little bit off-centered, moving off the page. So we're going to push it to the left here. Yeah, so we got the gallery, and we're gonna push it off the page again a bit. Oh, so we're gonna push it to the right. So I'm gonna push it like 200%, maybe a bit more. 200 pixels I have there. So make it 250. So it kind of shifts it over a bit. And then underneath this, we're gonna put an intersection. right here, but we're gonna make it 3 columns. Duplicate. So we have a 3-column intersection. To this intersection, we are going to take away we're going to make this intersection first 300 pixels in height. So minimum height, I'm gonna make it 350 pixels. So we got 350 pixels. I'm also going to say that I do not want any gaps to the columns so that they should butt up. And we're also going to take, for this at the top here, when we're looking at our text header here, we're going to give it a bottom margin of, let's just say negative 50 here. And we'll pull this up. And like we said in this section, so we have an image, another image, and yeah, so call to action. So that's pretty easy for us to do here. So we're going to drop in an image on this side, grab this, and I believe it's this image right here. Oh, sorry. So this is not how we're going to do this section. So now that we got the gallery in place and we have our intersection in place, we are going to start styling this element here. So I'm going to grab this column and I'm going to put a style to it. I'm going to put a background image to it. So we're going to put this image in place here. This one, I like this one. We're going to put position, center, or center right. Oh no, center. We're going to cover it so that it fits in this section, and we'll make sure that the column itself has a color white. So that way this section has a white, and in order for it to show, we're going to make sure that we put a spacer element in place. And the spacer, we can make it 350. Same thing, we're going to duplicate this spacer, we're going to move it over to this section, and we're going to right click on we're going to go to this column. On the style, we're going to put in a background color. And then on the background overlay, we are going to add an image. So we can add this image in there. We're going to make it center for its position, and we're going to make it contain so that it fits right into that column. We're also going to bring the opacity up. And we are going to apply a blend mode of multiply once again. So it gives that nice variation. And in this section, I just want a call to action I think here it is like just an added element to kind of call the action of start recording. So add some interest. So for this one, we're going to add something called a call to action. So call to action will go in there, and we have to make sure that we're using a cover. We're going to add this image into the background there, right? And we're going to make sure that it is just has a start recording here. And we do not need that, and we do not need the button. So just that. We need to increase the height. So it should be 350. So it just fits inside this section, which is all 350 points. So as you can see, pretty easy to do. We can add a little bit of typography styling to the actual words in there. So we'll go into Montserrat again. And we'll make it 20 points, and we'll make it bold. I might make it up to 28 point here. Yeah, so got some interest in there. All right, and then we're going to add another intersection. So for this intersection, we are going to duplicate this 2 more times. So duplicate and duplicate. So we got 3, but we're going to make some changes. For this section, we're going to put the call to action on this side, and we are going to move this to this side here. Sorry. We're going to move this column over. So we got that going on, and we're going to move this column over here. We're going to delete this. I'm going to put a spacer image in here. I'll put the spacer 350, so that way we can cover that. And over here, advanced content, we are in this column here, in this, we're going to remove this background. So we have a blank section like this. So matching up here, we have a block quote in here. So we're going to once again remove the background overlay to this section. Just gonna trash that. So we have the blues, and the way we put the video in here is it's very simple. So I went through and I found Tom's video. So I went through there and the style, and this is the link to Tom's video, but I only wanted certain section to loop. So the cool thing here is we go to this intersection that contains these 3 columns. We're going to style, we're going to put a video background in. I'm going to paste Tom's link in there, the YouTube link, and we're going to go from 4, a loop from 4 to 18 seconds here. And that will, whoa, I didn't do this on the actual intersection. I put this in the wrong place. So let's just trash that. Go here, and it's fine. And let's just go back up to the intersection here. So yeah, style now here. Oh, I know. It's because we had a color added to this, so we can just delete, try and make this transparent. So there we go. So we got that video looping in the background of this section, and we're gonna put a block quote in. So block quote here, block quote into here, and remove, delete that. And so we want some padding, so I'm going to highlight this column here and give it a padding of 30 all the way around. I'm going to make sure that the content is verticalized to middle, and we can style this block quote quickly. So style here, we're going to go text color to white. We're going to make sure that it is a quotation, kind of puts in that cool quotation mark there. Leave the content the way it is, John Doe. And then for the Twitter button, I only want the icon. So something like that. And you can obviously change all of this information. You can change, you know, you don't need to have the Twitter button in there. So it's very customizable here. For the style, I'm just going to go into typography. Once again, we can use the paragraph that we created, which we did. And then for the quotation, the color, we can put primary, which is white. And then for the content, for the author, we can make it white as well, but I like to reduce that so it's not so prominent. And also for the quotation, I want to reduce the opacity of this as well. So we'll just drop that down in opacity as well. So that way the text can stand out. And maybe I will make the text a little bit heavier in font size, just so that it pushes off the background a bit more. 500, 1/3. Yeah, so that's that section done, and over here we had Tom's call to action and here we had to put some of the icons, so social media icons. That's pretty easy as well. I'm going to remove the background overlay element here, and I'm going to drop in the social media icons. So social media right there. We'll make sure that we remove, there is a spacer element in here, so we just gotta remove that. And we need to make sure that this column has everything vertically aligned. So vertical middle. And I'll drop in that, and I want to edit this so that we have, so once again over here you can add whatever, you know, when you go into each one of these, you can add the icons and you can add the links to whatever sections that you want to go here. Under style, I want it to be custom color. I want the primary color to be none and the secondary color to be white. And I want the background, so the primary color to be this, and we want to reduce that. So we want the primary color to be white, but we want to take opacity away so that it's completely clear, and then that way you get these nice social media icons that, yeah, you know, just float in there. And on this side, we want to put in Tom's call to action here. So let's go here. It says watch review. Click here. That's pretty simple to do. We're going into here. We're gonna change the background. We're gonna change the image to Tom's image here, and we're going to change the content here. So watch now. Just quickly start with that, and we're gonna put click here, watch review. So let's just start with watch review. And click here, but the button only, button text, so sorry. So we're gonna go click here to the button, and there you go, and we can link it to Tom's video, which we got in the link here, that I had already copied to add the video to this section. Right. The spacer in here, so just delete that. Yeah, so right now that's what we got going. This page is pretty coming along, and now we got the final section to put in, which is the actual form. So as we can see here, it's just yes, I'm in. So once again, this is just pretty much like a copy and paste from the above, right? So very easy to do here. I'm going to add one column section. I'm going to make sure that it is got a color, background color. So for contrast, we had made this gray. So I'm going to make it gray here. And we are going to add the text. So duplicate this, take this down to this section here, scrolling down, and we just go yes, and then duplicate again, I am in. And here we go. We also want an icon, so we can just grab this icon, duplicate, and grab it and take it down in place here and put it at the top here. And for the icon, we wanted it to I want the icon to realign to the left, and in advanced, I don't want it to go that far, probably -50 will do. And we can change the icon to whatever we want. So play button, so move forward, insert, and style. I do want it to come down a bit, and I do want it to move over. Yeah, that's better. And for this guy, I want it larger, so typography. Yes, I'm in, so I'll make it a bit larger here. And we're going to go to the back here, advanced here, margin to the bottom. We want it to go, pull it back up, so something like that. Right. We also want to give this a little bit of padding. So we'll give it the padding to the top of 50 and the bottom of 50. So we got a little bit of space, and then we want to bring in the form. So Elementor Pro also comes with a form, makes it easy to build. Bring this in here. And you know what? We're gonna give this whole column here some padding so that everything fits in the middle. I'll do 100, and that's better. For the form itself, we're not gonna spend too much time styling it. There's a lot of stuff that we can do here, but we'll just do the general stuff. So no labels. We'll have this style here. We'll have a columns gap, row gap, so give it a little bit of space. The label, the text color, we want black. The typography, oh, actually not label, we are actually working the field. So the field, I want text color to be black. I want the typography to be paragraph main, so it changes all the typography here. And the background color, I want it to be white, but I want that to be spent to 0. And I only want a border to the bottom, so a border color will make it black, but only at the bottom. There you go. And then advanced, I want to give this padding, interior padding, so that it kind of fits the bottom. And we want to style this button here. So buttons, we want the typography to be that, and border type none. Background color, we'll do black. Secondary text color will make white. On hover, we'll make the background color different blue. So we'll just take this one to the darker blue here. So got that there. And we will give the text color white. And we will also make this form. The submit button, I only want it to so buttons, I want it to only take up 30%, so that way it's not too big. And then what we have here, press record, we want also to align to the left, and we want 100% to the left, and press record. So we just want that to change. Buttons, so we wanted to say press record here. I'm not gonna go through all the form submissions and setting all that up right now, but basically what I wanted to do is just go quickly through this page, show you how I built it, make it easy simple. Yeah, so that's what I got. So we can add a little bit of styling here. So for instance, if you wanted to add separations like I have on this right now, like we have the separation right here where it's got some information like this background going through. That's easy to do. We can grab this section, and on the style we can put a shape divider, and will be at the bottom, and the type will be tilt, and we can increase the height here. We can put the color, so the same color background as that, and we got that tilt at the bottom there, so get some variation to the page. And the same thing we can do at the top here. You can put top, you can put a tilt. We can also make it gray, and we can push it the other way, so we can reverse it, flip it, so something like that. And we can do the same to this section right here. We can put a style, we can go shape divider, bottom, we can make a tilt, right? And we once again use the same gray here, and we can flip it as well, and we can increase the height here, so it's kind of cool, right? And then just to make sure that none of this gets affected, we can give it some spacing. So we can give the padding at the bottom like 200 pixels, and we can take this image, and because it's going over the image here, I might probably make it a little bit more than that, so just to give it some spacing. So let's make it 250 here. Yep. So we got some variation there, and yeah, it's looking good so far. So the last thing that I want to do, and I want to show you guys, is how I make these navigations work. So we have something called anchors. So just take the anchor here. Oops. Anchor, we'll drop an anchor at the top here. We'll call it about. And then we'll put another anchor, so we can just duplicate this one. We'll duplicate this one, sorry, and drop that in here, and we'll just change it to features. And then we'll duplicate this again, and we will take it down to here, and we'll make this one gallery. And then we just need one more down here for the contact us section. Duplicate, grab this one, and take it into contact us right here. I'll just call it contact. And then those two buttons at the top here, so now we can link to this, so just do hashtag contact. And the same thing to this, we'll do hashtag contact. Right, so if I click on this, it will just scroll down to the page, as you can see there. And if I click on about, it goes to about section. If I click on features, it goes there. Another thing that I liked is to have this as a sticky header, so we can just grab this one. We can go to advanced, we can go motion effects, and then we can just do sticky to the top, so that when we scroll it sticks. And then to make this even cooler, is under the gallery, I wanted the gallery section to stay in front of that section, in front of the navigation. So when I scroll over it, that the gallery will stay in front of it. So that's pretty simple to do. The first thing we have to do is just make sure that this has a style, and the background type is white here. And then we want to make this one under advanced. We want this Z index to be 2, and then under this section here. We want to grab that inner section, and under advanced we want the Z index to be 1, and when you scroll now it will disappear right behind the gallery section. And the same thing here, we can make this section also be at a Z index of 2. So Z indexes are like layers that allow your content to go behind it, and so that's how it feels like it disappears. But yeah, I think that's it. We got this. We can update. Obviously I'd update a lot more often if I was doing this for client or live, and we can then go and view the page. So here we go, that's the page built. Everything's working. We have the about section, we have features section, gallery section, and then as you scroll down you just go into the rest. So yeah, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Hopefully it was interesting, and yeah, this is my video for day number 5, and I'll catch you at day 6, and thank you very much for watching.